Now we get to do word problems. There are 3 different word problems here, and I am going to tell you now so that you can't say you didn't know. On a test, if you see problems like this and you guess and check, I will mark it wrong, because remember that I'm assessing your ability to interpret a word problem and solve mathematically, not guess and check. So with that being said, let's take a look at the first one. 2 numbers differ by 5 and have a product of 84. Find those 2 numbers. All right, so in order to set this up, I need to identify my numbers. My first number would be x. The second number would be some number that's 5 away from x, so x plus 5. So then, and the other thing that I know is if I multiply these 2 numbers, so x times x plus 5, I'll get 84 as my answer. So what I have to do is expand this. And then remember, I want it set equal to 0. So now I have to factor. That minus 84 tells me I have a plus and a minus. Factors of 84 I would think of are 12 and 7. If 12 is the larger number and 7 is the negative, then they will add up to equal 5. So this means that x plus 12 has to equal 0, or x minus 7 has to equal 0. So x can be negative 12, or x can be positive 7. That's the first number. If x is negative 12, then the other number, that second number, x plus 5, has to be negative 7. If x is 7, then x plus 5 has to be 12. So these are the numbers. All right, so next one. The sum of 2 numbers is 9. The sum of their squares is 101. So we start with, my first number is x. My second has to be 9 minus x, because if I add them together, I get 9 as my answer. The sum of their squares is here. So then I expand. Combine like terms and bring the 101 over. From here I can factor out a 2. And then I can factor the quadratic. Factors of 10, I would say 10 and 1. If the 10 is negative and the 1 is positive, they'll add to negative 9. So x can either be negative 1 or positive 10. That means my 2 numbers are negative 1 and 10, or 10 and negative 1. So really, I only have one set of numbers. Last one is a rectangle problem. There's length, there's width, and it says the length is 1 meter less than twice the width. So you double the width and you subtract 1. We have an area. Remember, area is length times width. So if I say width times 2w minus 1 equals 55, I have to find the perimeter. That's not a problem. and then to factor. I know I have 2W and W. I know that I have a minus and a plus. And so let's see, if I make this factors of 55, that would be 5 and 11. So 2W times 5, that's 10W. Negative 11 times W, that's negative 11W. So that would add up to equal negative 1. So now I solve for W. You're not allowed to have a negative width, so you can't use that one. Your width here is 11 halves. Your length, then, so 2 times 11 halves minus 1. 2 times 11 halves is 11. 11 minus 1 is 10. So the length here is 10. So now if I need the perimeter, I have 2 times 11 halves plus 2 times 10. That's 20 plus 11. So my perimeter in this case is 31 meters. These are all word problems, so you will have to write out a complete sentence. The only reason I didn't is because I didn't really have space on this particular slide.